semuanya.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, Bapak Ibu. Let's start, presenters.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Feni Eka Medasari, SPDM Home, our lecturer in academic speaking for scientific in communication. My name is Tuhuyono with student personnel number 2024-7479015. Thank you for being here this morning, and it's a pleasure for me to have enthusiastic classmates. And now let's start our presentation this morning. The outline of my presentation consists of introduction, and then speech about objects, speech about process, followed by speech about events, speech about concept, guideline for informative speaking, conclusion, question and answer. The purpose of speech to inform is to convey knowledge and understanding, while the goal of speech to inform is to help the audience understand the subject clearly, accurately, and interestingly. There are four types of speech that will be explained here. The first is speech about objects, focusing on tangible items such as people, places, or things. For example, a speech about Marie Curie or the Great Wall of China. Second is the speech of process, explaining how something is made or how it works. For example, explaining how coffee is produced or how 3D printers operate. Three, speech about events, highlighting historical or current happenings. For example, the story behind World War II or the rise of social media movement. Four, speech about concepts dealing with ideas or theories. For example, the theory of evolution or the principle of Stoic philosophy. Speech to inform is judged by three criteria. The first is the information communicated clearly? Is the information communicated accurately? And is the information made meaningful or interesting to the audience? Now move to the next slide.
Sorry, Mr. Tuhu,
Yeah,
your slideshow isn't so. We can see your slideshow.
is it clear enough?
Not yet, sir.
Yeah.
I think you don't share your screen yet, Mr.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Sorry. Is already seen?
Still loading.
Thing.
Clear, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Good morning. I will explain from the first time, sorry. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Feni Kamedasari, SPDM Home, our lecturer in academic speaking for scientific communication. Today, I'm going to explain about speaking to inform. My name is Tuhuyono with personal student number 2024-7479015. And thank you very much for being here. Yeah, it is a pleasure to have you all enthusiastic classmates. The outline of my presentation consists of introduction, speech about objects, speech about process, speech about events, speech about concept, guidelines for informative speaking, conclusion, and question and answer. The purpose of informative speaking is to convey knowledge and understanding, while the goal is to help audience to understand the subject clearly, accurately, and interestingly. The informative speech is judged by three criteria. The first is the information communicated accurately. Is the information communicated clearly, and is the information made meaningful and interesting to the audience? Informative speech is classified into four. The first is speech about objects, focusing on tangible items such as place, people, or things. For example, a speech about Marie Curie or the Great Wall of China. Second, speeches about process, explaining how something is made or how it works. For example, explaining how coffee is produced or how 3D a printer operates. Three, speech about events, highlighting historical or current happenings. For example, the story behind World War II or the rise of social media movement. Speech about concept, dealing with ideas or theories, for example, theory of evolution or principle of a Stoic philosophy. Now, step to the analysis and organization. The first is set the topic. The second, create pattern consisting of specific purpose by focusing on one aspect of the subject, and main idea, central idea, and main points. Determine how the main point will be organized. Three ways to organize information include A, spatial order, organize information based on location or direction. It is used when you're describing something based on how it is arranged in space from left to right, such as a tour of human body, head, torso, legs, or describing museum layout from left to right. B, chronological order, organize information based on time or sequence. It is used when you're explaining a process, history, or anything that happens in steps or stages, such as the history of space travel from Sputnik to the International Space Station. C, topical order, organize information by topic or categories. It is used when the subject has several independent subtopics or aspects. For example, a speech about climate change could have topics like causes, effects, or solution. Next to the speech about objects, I'm going to explain definition, purpose, strategy, organization, and example. From definition, this species focus on tangible or visible subjects that can be perceived through the senses. An object can refer to person, place, animal, structure, artifact, while the purpose of this speech is to describe the object clearly, to highlight its significance or function, explain its history, background, or relevance, and help the audience see, understand, or appreciate the object in new light. Meanwhile, the strategy focuses on one aspect or one specific aspect. It should be well researched and factual, organized clearly, example, chronological, topical, or spatial. And the last is use visual and real life example if possible. In organization pattern, the main points can be arranged in chronological, explained in order of time, spatial, explained by physical layout or geography, and topical, explained by topics. This is the example. I only give one example of each speech. The topic is about electric vehicle. The specific purpose is to inform my audience about the features, types, and environmental impact of electric vehicle. Central idea, electric vehicle are transforming modern transportation by offering environmentally friendly alternatives to traditional cars. The main point it is in spatial order. Number one, the definition of and types of electric vehicle. Number two, key features and technology of modern EVs. And three, the environmental benefits and challenge of adopting EVs, electric vehicles. We move to the next slide. It is about speech about process. We talk about definition, type, structure, characteristic, organization, and example. From the definition, speech about process, according to Stephen L. Lucas, speech about process is a type of informative speech that explains how something is done, how something works, and how something happens. This speech describes a sequence of action or a series of steps involved in producing an outcome or understanding of a phenomena. The speaker goal is to help the audience to understand a process, to learn how to do it themselves, and appreciate the sequence and significance of the process. Next, the types of purposes. There are two types of purposes in speech about process. The first purpose is to understand the process. The goal is cognitive, to explain a procedure so that the audience understand it. For example, how solar panel generate electricity. And the second purpose is to perform a process. The goal is behavioral, to teach the audience how to do something. For example, how to make potato donuts. Lucas advised that you be very clear about which purpose you are pursuing because it affects how much detail you include and how you organize your content. Structures. The topic is about CBT, computer-based test. Main idea or introduction will be what is CBT and why it matters. In the body, will be set in chronological order. Number one, create LTMPT or the university account. Second, log in and fill biodata. 3, upload documents and pay fees. 4, choose exam schedule. And 5, print the test card. Well, the conclusion will be tips for smooth registration. The characteristic of speech about process. Speech about process should have clear and step-by-step structure and should use chronological or logical order, provide visual aids and real example, avoid assuming prior knowledge, and in organization, Lucas emphasized the importance of logical sequence and structure in process species. He suggests two common organization patterns. Chronological pattern, it is good for showing step in order of occurrence. For example, how a volcanic eruption unfolds. Step 1, magma formation. Step 2, pressure build up. Step 3, eruption. And step 4, ash fallout. Topical order pattern best if the process has distinct stages that aren't strictly linear but still need explanation. For example, how to build emotional resilience. The first topic will be understanding stress. The second topic will be practicing mindfulness. And the third topic, building support networks. This is an example. The topic is how AI chatbot works. The specific purpose is to explain my audience how AI chatbot function and train. Central idea chatbot operates through a structured process of data training, phone generation, and three, the generation of responses and feedback learning. The next slide is about speech about event. Here we talk about definition, characteristic, organizational pattern, tips for effective event speech, and example. From the definition, according to Stephen A. Lucas, a speech about event is a type of informative speech that describe an occurrence or happenings, either historical, the fall of Suharto, for example, reform era begins in 1998, or the Bandung Conference, Spirit of ASEAN and Asia Solidarity in 1955. And then contemporary, for example, Indonesian relocation of the capital city, Nusantara and the future governance in 2022 until present, or omnibus law, controversy, labor protest, and legal reform in Indonesia to 2020 or 2020, or ongoing, such as Jember Fashion Carnival, the Pride of East Java Creativity, the Toraja Funeral Festival, a unique cultural rite of Sulawesi, South Sulawesi, and, for example, Yogyakarta Gamelan Festival, harmony and traditional music. This speeches inform the audience about what happened, why it happened, and its significance without trying to persuade them or take a position. While the characteristic of this speech, the speech about events should focus on single event or clearly defined topic, organized using chronological or cause and effect order, use vivid details but stay objective, help the audience understand why the event matters. In organizational pattern, in organizing, main points can be carried out through one, chronological order, timeline what happened. For example, the 2022 Indonesian curriculum reform, or in cause and effect patterns, what caused the event and what effects followed. For example, the impact of COVID-19 on national exam. Move to the tip for effective Easter event species. Choose an event with a clear boundaries and use fact, dates, and credible sources. This is an example of speech about event. The topic is the rise of remote work post-pandemic. Specific purpose to inform our audience about the development and impact of remote work after the COVID-19 pandemic. Central idea, the pandemic has drastically accelerated the adoption of remote work, changing how companies operate and how people work. Main points, the shift to remote work during the pandemic, the technical tools that support remote work, and the long-term social and economic implication. Now, move to the speech about concept, still explaining the definition, characteristic, organizational concept, tips for concept speech, and example. The definition of speech about concept is speech about concept as informative speech that explains ideas, theory, principle, belief, and philosophies. These are often abstract topics, where unlike speeches about object, processes, or events which are more concrete. Concept can and minimalism theories such as evolution or relativity, disciplines such as ethics and metaphysics, belief systems, and principles or values such as justice and freedom of speech. The characteristic of speech about concept focus on understanding, not application, often intellectual or philosophical, uses examples, comparison, and definition, may involve controversy, but speech should stay informative. Next, organize by topical order, break the concept into components, for example, dimension of inclusive education. 2, definition plus explanation, define the concept and explain how it functions. For example, what is student-centered learning? Number 3, comparison or contrast, compare the other ideas to highlight meaning. For example, traditional versus Merdeka Belajar Filosofi. 4, tips for concept speech, start with simple, define the idea in clear terms and use analogies to make the idea relatable. Explain the components step by step, include real-life example or application. Avoid passive tone for focus on clarity. This is the for speech concept, topic digital citizenship, speech inform be too technical means that we should avoid using complex terminology or detailed data that might confuse a general audience. Simplify explanation and use everyday language whenever possible to make the message accessible. Can be hard to understand and use concrete example, analogies, or stories to clarify or illustrate the point. This makes your information more vivid and easier to grasp. Next, personalize your ideas. Bring your topic to life with personal stories, experience, and human interest angles. This not only helps explain your point, but also builds a stronger emotional connection with the audience. And the last, be creative. Informative speakers should find fresh, engaging ways to present their material. Creativity helps keep the audience interested and make the message more memorable. This can include using vivid language, storytelling, visual demonstration, humor, or surprising facts. The goal is to give information simply by delivering it in a way that captures attention and spark curiosity. I think the explanation is enough, and now move to the summary. The summary here, the point number one is four types of informative speech, namely speeches about objects, speeches about process, speeches about events, and speeches about concept. Objects include places, structures, animals, even people, which are usually organized in chronological, spatial, or topical order. A process is a series of actions working together to produce a final result, to explain how something is made, how something is done, or how something works. An event is anything that happens which are usually arranged in chronological or topical order. Concepts include beliefs, theories, ideas, and principles which typically follow a topical pattern of organization. Be careful not overestimate what your audience knows about it. Explain everything so truly to be understood. Avoid being too technical. Okay. In this presentation, there are 4 questions. I will read.
Later on, Pak. Ini nanti
Oke.
belakangan saja.
Oke, siap,
Pak
siap,
Hen
siap.
sekarang.
Ya, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Pak.
Ya.
Hello, Dr. Penny. Are you mentioning my name?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very
Hi.
much. Thank you very much. Okay, before I start, just want to check my volume and frequency. Everyone, can you hear me clearly?
Crystal
and clear.
Mr. Hen. Yes, Pak Hen.
Thank you very much for supporting me. I know you are always beside me. So let me start the presentation. So let me help you sharing my screen first. Okay, just want to check. Have you got it on your screen, everyone? Thank
Yes,
you
Mr.
very
Hen.
much. Okay, Dr. Venny, will you excuse me to share the way I got a reference from academic speaking, the speaking to persuade. So let me start then. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Very good morning, everyone. Yeah, dear all fellow students of Unindra, Master Program of English Education, and Honorable Dr. Veni Eka Meidasari, Bachelor of Education, Master of Humanity, and Honorable Immediate Lecturer, Master Program of English Language Education, our ideal. Thank you very much for joining the session and also for your passion to work with us. First of all, again, I'd like to thank you very much to all of you, especially my fellow students of Unindra, to watch my presentation today. My name is Toto Hendroyono, but people call me Pak Hen. Right now, again, I'm with the Master Program of English Education Unindra. Well, you gotta believe me, class. You've got to trust me. When we talk about public speaking, what seems perfectly logical to some audiences or listeners may seem irrational to others. So no matter how expert you are on the topic, no matter how skillfully you prepare the speech, no matter how captivating your delivery, no matter how smart you are, some audiences may disagree with you. Okay, that's a normal and realistic. You got to accept the reality. Even how handsome, how beautiful you are as a presenter, I believe still some audiences will disagree with your ideas. So perhaps this can be a little bit upset for us, but that's the way it is. That's normal and realistic. So in both academic and professional setting, the ability to speak persuasively is highly valuable skills. Whether in the classroom, meetings, public forum, often need to convince others to our ideas, belief, or proposal. Speaking to persuade is totally different from speaking to inform. When speaking to persuade, then you have to make your audience convinced. How are you going to do that? That's why it requires influencing how people think, feel, and sometimes even how they act. Again, unlike informative speaking, persuasive speaking aims to shape opinion, attitudes, or behavior. To be effective, persuasive speaker must understand their audience, of course, build strong and logical argument, appeal to emotion appropriately, and deliver their message with confidence and clarity. So in my presentation this morning, I'm going to talk about speaking to persuade. My presentation will be divided into 3 different points. First, I'm going to explain more about understanding the purpose of persuasive speaking. After that, I'm going to highlight, identify key features of academic persuasive speaking, and finally, spend some time together to apply this strategy to enhance persuasiveness in academic speaking. So, before I buckle down to the seriousness of my presentation, would you help me answer this question? What is persuasive speaking? Dr. Veni, would you excuse me a minute then? I'm going to check about our capacity and assess our capacity as a persuasive speaker. Okay?
Please do, Pak.
Would you help me to take part in my presentation today? Please prepare a pen and paper with you. Thank you.
Ready?
Ready? Okay.
Yes.
Now, we are going to assess ourselves whether we are a persuasive speaker or not. Please help me complete this kind of a questionnaire.
Okay.
What you have to do, please write down number 1 until number 7. Don't forget to write down your name. Okay, have you got it?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
So what kind of speaker are you? Here we go.
What kind of?
The speaker are you, especially a persuasive speaker. Please answer the following question honestly. Pick the option that best showing your usual approach. It's not about right or wrong answer. It's about the way that you experienced before. Okay? Can you promise me, please?
Yes. Question number 1, Pak Ibu.
Okay, Please answer the question honestly about you. It's not about right or wrong, but about you have experienced before. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you ready with number 1?
Number 1.
Yes, please choose Alpha, Bravo, Charlie only.
Okay.
No explanation. Thank you. Let's start with number 1.
Okay.
Here you go. Mary, will you help me read, please?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Read,
Mana?
please. Number 1. Mary, will you read, please? Thank you.
This
Ah,
question, right?
respond.
What is the persuasive speaking?
Mm.
Questionnya mana?
Okay. So before, let me read that. Before giving an academic presentation, you A, write a full script and memorize it word by word. B, create a bullet points and practice speaking naturally.
It's
C,
not in
will
the
and
slide.
look for the
Apa
best.
itu?
Now choose your answer A, B, and C. Finish. Let me move to number 2.
Wait a minute. Where is the ABC? The multiple choice mana?
We cannot see your
Have you got
screen,
it on your
mister.
screen,
I think you
everyone?
Cannot see
share.
your
I
screen.
think you share
Not in
another
the
screen,
screen.
mister.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let me reshare
We
there.
need-
I'm very sorry. I'm too excited.
It's okay, Grandpa.
Here we go. Here we go then.
It's okay, Grandpa.
This is the wrong place, right? Different laptop. I'm very sorry. I've got a double laptop.
Nah, here
Okay,
we
so
go.
let me get back to this
Nih,
one. Answer the
Okay.
following question honestly. Pick the option that best represent your usual approach. Mary, number 1, will you read, please?
Number 1 is before giving an academic presentation, you A, write a full script and memorize it word for word. Create bullet points and practice speaking naturally and feel relaxed and
Okay.
hope for the best.
Thank you, everyone. Choose your answer. Now move to number 2.
I
Okay,
haven't done
Sophie, will you read, please, for me? Sophie, absent that.
No, she's
You
here.
don't respond, absent. Okay. Number 2, okay, let me read here.
Kayak dosen yang sebelah ya.
I couldn't see. So when explaining complex ideas, you A, avoid the explanation too risky. B, break it down clearly with examples and definition, and C, use technical jargon to sound smart. Cool. Choose your answer and move to number 3.
Okay.
How do you start your presentation? A, with an apology for being unprepared. B, with a clear thesis and roadmap of your talk. C, with a joke or meme, lighten the mood. Come on. Choose your answer and move to number
Done.
4.
4.
How often do you engage your audience during a talk? A, rarely. I just focus on getting through it. B, often I ask a question or invite reflection. C, only I forget what I was going to say. Not a big deal. Come on. Choose your answer and move to number 5. Here we go.
What is your
What's your relationship with and like this kind of a filler word? Okay. Your answer A, I record myself on to eliminate them altogether. B, I'm aware of them and try to reduce their something. Sorry. C, we're best friend. I see them constantly. Choose your answer and move to number 6. If someone challenges your, what is that? During Q&A, your idea. Sorry, if someone challenges your idea during Q&A, you thank them but freeze or panic. A. B, thank them and respond with evidence or clarification. C, thank them and say, let's agree to disagree. Come on, move on. And finish. Now go to number 7. This is the last question.
Okay,
when citing research or sources, you A, mention vague ideas like I read somewhere, somebody told me, something like that. Or B, clearly cite authors or studies, for example, like Smith 2022, something like that. Or C, skip it. They probably won't check anyway, right?
Done.
That's the end of the questionnaire. Now check your result, okay?
Okay.
What kind of persuasive speaker are you? This one based on your experience. Now let's check here.
Okay.
Categorize yourself as speaker A. Your answer are mostly A or dominant A. You are speaker A. Is that clear for your category?
Yes.
Okay. What about speaker B? This one is a dominant B. Answer.
You answer are mostly B. Or dominant
and then speaker C. Meaning that your answer are dominant C.
Mostly C.
Okay. And then let's take a look at how this category tell you more about you. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Here we go. Okay, let's start with the category A. Yeah, you are a speaker A. What this category tell you? Here we go then. Speaker A, let me read here. Mostly dominant A. Nervous, stressed, upset, but honest. Are you this category?
No.
How many of you? Will you raise your hands? How many of you belongs to A? Okay, many. I think. Most of us, right? Very stressed because when you join Ibu Fanny's class, it's very
Joking ya, Miss
very
Fanny ya.
horrible, right? Yeah. Okay. But class,
Joke.
I'm going to give you kind of motivation. It's okay. Speaking is a skill, not a talent. With a focus, practice, and yeah, you can gain the confidence and control in academic
Ya,
speaking.
Kak.
Never absent join Ibu Fanny's class. Yeah. Okay. So what you need now is perhaps going picnic, right? Okay. To release your tension. Puncak or Ancol, Dreamland, maybe relaxing first, before joining Dr. Fanny's class. Okay, that's the category A, most of us. What about category B? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Dominant B, academic
Me.
speaker in the
It's me.
making. You
It's
are on the
me.
right track.
It's me. Me.
Are you sure? You're developing solid skills in
Yeah.
quality, structure,
Me.
and engagement.
Yeah, me.
Practicing, and you are on your way to excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just like Dr. Venny, okay?
Yeah.
Why Dr.
You must
Venny
be
is a great
prepared.
persuasive speaker? Because he has a lot of references.
Yes.
Yeah, not like you, not modal, okay?
No.
Okay, what about category C? This is me. Okay, mostly C, dominant C, the occasional charmer. You are fun, relatable, but you may need to polish your academic rigor and structure to thrive in formal setting. Right now, your
Comedy.
place is stand-up comedy or a circus.
Or circus.
Are you dominant C?
No, I'm B.
Okay, very good. That when all of participants are dominant B, meaning that Dr. Venny's class is very successful. Give a big hand for Dr. Venny.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Is that all of my presentation? Okay, now, yeah, let me get back to my slide. Yeah, here we go. That yeah. Okay, class. Hopefully that you belongs to B. Yeah, some of us, most of us, belongs to category A. Upset, stress. You don't have the time to prepare. Like sorry to mention, like Twinny is very busy, 4 hours. Yeah, she's the busiest person in the world. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah. What is persuasive speaking? Yeah. This one is the answer the question. Yeah. So first, speaking to influence attitude, beliefs, or action. Yeah. So the ability to speak persuasively will benefit you in every part of your life, from personal relation to community activities to career aspiration. When you speak to persuade, you act as an advocate. Come on in. Your job is to get listener to agree with you and perhaps to act on that belief. Your goal may be to defend an idea, to refute an opponent, to sell a program, to inspire people to action. It must be very tough and difficult. I know it. Yeah. So in persuasive speaking, you will face some listener who are strongly in favor of your position, some who are neutral, and some who are opposed your opposition. Yeah. So how successful you are in a particular persuasive speaking will depend above all on how well you tailor your message to the values, attitude, and belief of your audience. So again, class, speaking to persuade is very damn difficult. It's not that easy to make people do whatever you want them to do. So perhaps you have to learn kind of a hypnotize, is it? Okay, yeah. So number one, understand the purpose of a persuasive speaking. Yeah. Here, convince through argumentation. Yeah, in this case, you have to use your logical listening. Your logical reasoning, evidence, and emotional appeals to build a compelling case. Yeah. Try to say your opinion or behavior. Yeah. Persuasive speaking aims to modify, to reinforce the audience attitude, beliefs, or action. Yeah. Then, how to identify the key features of this one? Yeah. Here we go. Clear position or a thesis. Yeah. This one is very important. This is the way you try to gain your credibility by the time you open the presentation. So it must be very smooth, no mistake at all, even in your pronunciation. Okay, so again, clear position or thesis. The speaker clearly states a position or argument early, usually in the introduction. By the time you are standing in front of your audience, then you have to build the credibility, how your audience believes you, how you can gain trust from your audience. So this thesis is very specific, arguable, and sets the direction for the speech. So for example, like this one here, let's say if you work in an area of education policy, you may start your what is that? Your very bombastic, stating the goal of your presentation here, like this one here, in education policy. Okay, here we go. Let me read it. This presentation argues that standardized testing should be replaced with performance-based assessment to more accurately reflect student learning and critical thinking. Okay, this is quite stunning, right? And I do believe this can be conflicting with your audience idea. Don't worry, just be happy. Okay, remember that some audience will agree with you, some will be neutral, and some will against you. That's kind of a reality. Okay, next, in human rights, this is just kind of examples how you state your the title of your presentation bombastically here. I argue that states have a legal and moral obligation to provide asylum to climate refugee under evolving interpretation of international refugee law, something like that. Okay, and this one is more about logical structure. So logical structure will go like this one. Okay, first is about problem solution structure. You see the purpose? You've got a purpose to persuade by presenting clear problem and offering compelling solution. Okay, and your topic is academic integrity in online learning. Then you have to structure your goal in such a way so that it can be very convincing. Look at this one, introduction. Cheating in online exams has increased dramatically since the shift to remote learning. After that, don't forget, it must be supported by data. Okay, and the statistics are here, the problem. Survey shows that over 60% of students admit to academic dishonesty during online assessment. Okay, through plagiarism, perhaps using AI, things like this one. And look at the consequences here. This undermines educational credibility and devalues qualification. Okay, so you state the title of your presentation. After that, you highlight with the background. Then you support with evidence from the statistic. After that, also you give a solution. Very good at you reveal the problems. Now you try to offer the solution. Good persuasive speaker you are. Okay, and look at the solution. Universities should implement AI-based proctoring combined with assessment redesign to prioritize integrity. Okay, and you can make a conclusion like this one here. Only by addressing both behavior and system design can academic honesty be preserved in digital education. This is a very, very strong and persuasive design of speaking to persuade. Now, again, use evidence already mentioned, statistic, expert opinion, what else then? Research finding, anecdotal evidence, those kind of things should be delivered carefully. Again, critical thinking and evaluation. And when we go with this one, let me highlight with this one here. Assessing argument, evaluate the strength of argument. Try to consider factors like logic, what else then? Evidence and emotional appeal. Okay, and also considering counter argument, anticipate and address potential counter argument to strengthen your argument. Using nuanced language, like try to avoid oversimplification and use nuanced language to convey complex ideas. Okay, and you get a benefit, right, by doing this kind of critical thinking, like analyzing argument. In this case, the benefit that you try to build credibility from your audience, meaning that your audience believe you and you gain trust from your audience. Why? Because your presentation is supported by evidence, by data, by statistics, not by your opinion. Never say that I think, I feel. What you think may be wrong, what you feel may be misleading, but the statistic, the evidence. Yeah, what is an expert statement will be kind of things to help you reinforce your presentation. Okay, and here we go then. So evaluation in academic speaking, already discussed this one. Here we go. Formal and objective tone. Yeah, formal tone. Yeah, you have to avoid colloquialism, meaning this is kind of a daily English expression. Yeah, refrain from using informal language like slang or jargon. Why? In academic speaking, I do believe that your audience are from other educational institution. They are all educated person. Okay, using technical vocabulary, employ technical term and precise language relevant to the field. Okay, never tell a joke. Yeah, again, never tell a joke when you give a presentation, especially in persuasive presentation. Why? Because when you tell a joke, what is funny for you is not funny for the audience. Okay, can you imagine if this happened in your presentation? Okay, so should I tell a joke? No. So my advice is humor. Humor comes naturally. Humor will help you how you deal with the people. Okay, so you don't have to make up kind of a story like a stand-up comedy. No need. Yeah. Okay, and maintaining a professional demeanor. Please speak clearly, confidently, and respectfully. And the objective tone. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Try to avoid emotional appeals. I mean, let's say if your audience disagree with you, then you have to think in such a way how to support your statement with evidence, statistic, data, something like that. Yeah, presenting in balanced view, meaning that you have to acknowledge potential counter argument and present a balanced perspective. So be ready for rebuttal from your audience. Yeah, focusing on evidence, ground your argument in credibility in this case. Yeah. Okay. And what about persuasive technique? You can use storytelling in this case. Okay, yeah. Storytelling will tell a compelling story that illustrates your point and makes your message more relatable, relate to your audience. Yeah, and then what about appeal to emotion? Use emotional appeals to connect with your audience and make your message more memorable. Perhaps you can increase the tone, or yeah, you can speak soft. It depends on the condition. Use repetition. Of course, then audience couldn't remember what you are saying easily, so you have to repeat key phrases or ideas to emphasize their importance and make them more memorable. Yeah, use rhetorical question. Why? This is to involving your audience in your presentation by asking, like using you, we, you, or us, something like that. So by saying this one, the audience feel involved in your presentation. Yeah, use expert testimony. Of course, this one is very important. Yeah, you have to cite credible expert in the field. Yeah, the authority. Yeah. Okay, and also credibility to your argument. Use data and statistic again and again. I'm going to highlight about using data and statistic and evidence, and also your the expert statement to support your claim. Yeah. Use analogy and metaphor. Use analogy and metaphor to explain complex idea and make them more accessible. Yeah, later on, perhaps Dr. Penny will be giving us the example how to use this one. And use anticipation and respond. Anticipate counter argument and respond them to strengthen your argument. Okay, sometimes you can use the audience that support you to answer the question. Remember that some audience will be with you, some will be neutral, and some will be against you. Okay, so you have to make the best use of your audience potential. Yeah, use clear structure. Yeah, and logical structure to organize your argument and make it easier to follow. That's why you have to highlight and outline your presentation in such a way so that your audience will follow this one easily. Yeah. So by incorporating this persuasive technique into your academic speaking, you can make your argument more compelling and persuasive. Yeah. Okay. And here we go then. Again, use data, etc., etc. Yeah. Here. Audience awareness. Here. You better tailor your message in such a way. Use relevant examples, avoid jargon, again, use persuasive language. In this case, use a language that is persuasive and engaging. but also respectful and professional. Later on, also perhaps some will be helping me with this kind of examples. Yeah. Okay. Know your audience background. Never underestimate your audience. Yeah, I do believe there must be some professor, there must be some doctors join your audience, like Dr. Fanny today. Yes, she will join our session, right? Okay, so you got to be very careful with this one. Yeah, and the point later on is the making eye contact to build kind of engagement with your audience, and try to apply strategy to enhance your persuasiveness in academic context. Here, number one, the benefit here. Yeah, increase persuasion. By understanding and tailoring your message to your audience, you can increase the persuasive power of your argument. Improve engagement. Always maintaining eye contact with your audience. If possible, you can approach your audience, yeah, on the floor. I mean, you don't have to sit all the time on your table or standing in your podiums. Why don't you go down and walk around your audience, showing that you are very professional. Okay, think that a little bit like artists. Yeah, enhance your credibility by demonstrating awareness of your audience need and concern, and you can enhance your credibility and build trust with your audience. And okay, what about this one? Again, establish credibility, already discussed, I think, in detail. Yeah. Now, I'm going to move on in a persuasion in academic setting. This one. Okay. So again, presenting argument based on evidence, using logical reasoning and credible sources, and balancing objectivity with advocacy. I'm going to go on with the first point here. When presenting argument based on evidence, consider the following. Use credible sources. Perhaps journal articles, from books that you mentioned, like Stephen Lucas, yeah, or perhaps from from an expert statement like Dr. Fanny. You can mention Dr. Fanny said in his book and in her book like this, blah 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 blah. Okay, not blee blee blee. Okay, and provide data and statistics. Use numerical data and statistics to support your argument and demonstrate trends or patterns. Include again expert testimony. Again and again, you have to cite expert in the field to add credibility. Yeah, for example, like graphs, a chart, or image to help illustrate your points and make your argument more engaging. Wow, it's very long, I think. But again, credible sources. Then balancing your objectivity. Again, balancing your objectivity with advocacy. Yeah, presenting facts objectively. Yeah, providing accurate, unbiased information. Yeah, what else then? Acknowledging multiple perspectives. Yeah, advocating for a position, clearly and persuasively presenting your argument while still maintaining a level of objectivity. Yeah. Okay, and after that, you are going to go to 3 pillars how you deal with this kind of this one. Yeah. Okay. So a very famous 3 pillars of persuasion by Aristotle. Okay. So the 3 pillars of persuasion as identified by Aristotle are as credibility, establishing the speaker's credibility, trustworthiness, and authority on the topic. Pathos, emotion, appealing to the audience emotion, values, and desire to create a connection and influence their perspective. Yeah. Logos, or logic, using logical reasoning, evidence, and facts to build a convincing argument and persuade. Yeah. Okay. After that, also you have to structure your persuasive academic speaking by introduction. Yeah. Like this one, right? Yeah. Structure and persuasive academic speaking. Introduction, hook plus thesis. It must be, if possible, a little bit bombastic. You know, this is the way that you can attract the audience attention. Yeah. Okay. And then also the body. Yeah. In this case, then, yeah, main argument with evidence. Yeah. Then conclusion, summary, and call to thoughts or action. Here, when you conclude or when you close your presentation in persuasive speaking, then you have to make your audience to do something. Okay. For example, like join your program, accept your proposal. Okay. Accept your ideas. Things like that one, but I do believe some will be against you. But again, by following this structure, you can create a persuasive academic speech that effectively communicate your argument and convince your audience. Yeah. And the language, it should be formal, precise, and be careful in the vocabulary. Don't use daily or colloquialism. Yeah. And transition and signposting. Yeah. And what else then? Here we go with the conclusions. Yeah. So in conclusion, persuasive speaking is essential in academic context to influence thoughts, attitude, or action. Yeah. Persuasive speaking require a clear position or argument supported by logical reasoning and reliable evidence. Effective persuasive speaking uses address, credibility, logic, and pathos emotional appeal. Speaker must understand their audience's background and expectation. That's why before giving the presentation or seminar, you have to learn a little bit about your audience background. Language should be formal, respectful, and precise. Gaining your confidence, structure, and clarity are key to deliver a convincing message. One of my students asked me like this one: how do we gain a confidence during our academic presentation? It's easy. You have to take it from me. Yeah, you have to apply 4P. You know, letter P become 3 P's. Number one, how do you gain your confidence? Number one, prepare well, practice more, and prayer. Prepare well, practice more, and say your prayer. Can you repeat again, everyone? Number one. Hello.
Prepare well.
Prepare well.
Practice
well.
Practice more.
Prayer.
Practice more.
Prayer.
And
Practice more.
say your
Prayer.
prayer. Okay. And plus the last one, plus M. Yeah. Don't be lazy. Never put off your doing things. Okay. Yeah. Here
Don't
we
be
go.
lazy.
So again, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Don't be
skills
lazy.
foster critical thinking, public speaking, confidence, and contribute to constructive academic dialogue. I think that's all. Wrap up my points. Thank you very much. It's now the time for the question and answer, and will be delivered by Mr. Tuhu. And we need kind of a golden inputs for our respectable Dr. Benny. Thank you very much. Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, please. Pak Tuhu, you may start.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for the occasion. At this time, there are 4 questions in my presentation. I will read one by one. Number 1 is from Marianti. What 4 broad categories of informative speech topics does Lucas identify, and how does each one shape the way a speaker develops and organizes content? The second question is from Ms. Elise Hassana. What organizational strategy does Lucas advise for a process speed, and what 2 delivery tips enhance listener comprehension? The third question is from Mrs. Astri Permatasari. According to Lucas, what does it mean to personalize your ideas, and how can a speaker do this ethically? And the last question from Ms. Putri Ngawirabaya. Why might using chronological pattern be more effective for some informative topics than a topical pattern? For question number 1, I will try to answer for number 1. This explanation is through a table: category, focus, common organization, and development style. Category will be object, speech of object, process, event, and concepts. And the focus will be tangible things, how to, or step by step. And then past or ongoing happenings. And the last, abstract ideas or principle. Common organization is chronological, spatial, and topical order. In process, the common organization is chronological and sequential, while the event, the common organization will be chronological and topical, and the last, the concept, the common organizationalnya will be topical. And development style for object, speech of object, descriptive and factual, while for process, speech is clear step and explanation. Speech about events, the development style will be background, causes, vague and important. And the last, for concept speech, the development style will be definition, example, and logical analysis. For question number 2, use a chronological sequence pattern divided into distinct stages, often preparation, execution, result, or evaluation. Visual samples, step 1, next, finally, and keep listener oriented. Delivery tips, parallel verbal cues plus photographs, clips. Pacing and recap, present one step at a time, pause to summarize key action or terms before moving on. The answer for number 3, personalization means linking information to human experience. So, audience see its relevant. Ethical personalization involves illustrative anecdotes about individuals affected by the topic with permission or anonymity as needed. First person example, when I volunteer in the coral reef survey, blah, blah, blah. Audience adaptation, choosing comparison, statistic, and stories drawn from the listener's cultural or professional context. And the answer for the last question, because it allows listener to follow a logical flow from beginning to end. It is especially helpful when the goal is to explain how something develops or the history of a subject. It enhances clarity and retention because the audience can mentally organize the information based on familiar concepts of time. For example, the topic is the history of the internet, the chronological pattern. In 1960s, origins in military research, ARPANET. In 1980s until 1990s, development of TCP or IP and the World Wide Web. And in 2000s until today, expansion to mobile and global connectivity. Okay, that's the question and answer presented in this presentation. Thank you, Dr. Fanny. That's now the turn of Mr. Hen.
Yeah, thank you. Please do. Pak Hen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fanny, for giving me this, second opportunity to share also my limited knowledge regarding this academic speaking. That's why we need your guidance. Okay, so I've got a fourth question that I know this question is very damn difficult for me to answer. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start answering the question from Nia Atifatur Rahmania. Oh, I call her my dear Nia, with her number 2024 747 9078. And here it is, her question. Yeah. How can a speaker determine the appropriate moment to pause, stop, or adjust a persuasive speech when the audience show signs of disinterest? Let's say, in short, your audience get bored with our presentation. What should you do? It's easy, right? Why don't we go home? Okay, sorry, just kidding that. Yeah, remember.
If there is that option, I will take that maybe.
Okay. Remember that some audience are with you, agree with your statement, with your claim, whatever you say. Okay, this is good, right? You have to make the best use of this group. And then, secondly, more to the audience that are not with you. They are against your claim, your statement. So what would you do? Yeah, again, you have to be able to read the signs of interest. For example, like this one, when you give a presentation and your audience shows this sign, nonverbal cues, your audience member may exhibit nonverbal cues such as like crossing their arms or legs, avoiding eye contact. Yeah, what else then? Checking their phones or watch. This is kind of a signs of showing boredom. Yeah. After that, what else? What about the verbal feedback? Yeah, audience members may provide verbal feedback such as asking irrelevant question, interrupting or talking over to other audience, yeah, and also expressing skepticism or disagreement. Now, what are you going to deal with this kind of crazy situation? Don't get panic. Get home. Sorry. Yeah. Then this one is kind of a strategy to respond. Here, pause and regroup. Pause the speech and regroup by asking a question and re-engage the audience. In this case, you have to energize yourself. Okay, your voice must be as strong as it could be. Yeah, sharing relevant.
Lost connection,
I
Mr.
think
Han.
Mr. Han is go home.
He's
Mr.
gone
Han,
now.
are you with us?
Our
We are
Maybe-
grandpa is gone.
interested. I'm
Maybe
really
he is
interested
the one.
with your answer. Don't go home, Mr. Han.
He's the one that feel this
Oh,
interest.
yeah, that's
Our,
right,
our
Miss.
grandpa, where are you?
Mhm.
He's gone, yeah.
Yeah, go
He's
home.
the one who feels bored.
Hello, Mr. Han.
Yeah, okay. He's go home. He's going home, I think.
He is leave.
While we're waiting, mungkin nanti saya masuk dulu mungkin. Nanti kalau Pak Hen muncul, we'll start again. Okay.
Call him Miss Fanny. I tried to call.
I don't know. He's not here. Okay, while we're waiting, saya akan kasih feedback dulu mungkin ya untuk the first presentation. Nanti kalau Pak Hen, if he shows up, kita lanjut lagi. Karena takutnya kalau gangguan sinyal kalau lama, nanti nunggunya lama.
I'm
Okay.
very sorry.
Oh,
It
okay.
seems that
Panjang umurnya serta mulia.
the
If you
connection
go home, Mr. Han,
is down, Dr.
if you
Benny.
go home,
Yeah, unstable connection. I'm very sorry since
It's
I live
okay.
somewhere in
Oh, I
you
thought-
know.
It's okay, it's okay.
I thought
You may
grandpa belum
continue.
bayar.
Can I
You may
continue,
continue.
Doctor?
Yeah.
You may, yes,
Because
yes,
I'm very
yes,
excited to
yes,
meet you today,
yes.
Doctor. This is just my rare opportunity to be with you.
Okay, let's
Thank
continue,
you.
continue, Pak.
Okay, okay. What was I saying? I forgot. Anybody, can you help me?
If
You
your
forgot.
audience feels disinterested or
I see. Thank you very much, Doctor, to put my brain back on the track. Yeah, okay. So again, you have to be very energized. Yeah, energetic in this case. You try to energize and share your positive aura to your audience. But remember, there must be some audience will be against you. That's normal, okay? And then you try to avoid this kind of audience if they are too demanding. Yeah, stop and pivot. Yeah, stop the speech and pivot by opening the floor for question or discussion. You can open the discussion, right? Yeah, for example, like one of the audience is very demanding, annoying. You can point out this person to say something, to share his expertise or opinion, and try to conflict with the audience that agree with you. You have the supporter, right? Yeah, shifting to a different topic or approach, and also encouraging audience participant or feedback. Yeah, okay. And how to be effective adjustment? Be flexible. Yeah, be prepared to adjust the speed based on audience feedback. Read the room. Pay attention to non-verbal cues and verbal feedback. Yeah, use audience feedback. Use audience feedback to inform adjustment to the speed. And the important thing is that stay calm and confident. How? Again, by prepare well, practice more, and anybody? Can you help me?
Pray.
Yeah, say
Say
you are
pray.
praying. That's the
And
way I
stay
learned from
positive.
So by paying attention to your audience feedback and adjusting the speech accordingly, speakers can re-engage their audience and increase the effectiveness of their persuasive message. That's one for Nia. That's too long, Nia.
Thank
Okay.
you so
And
much. That's good
the second one
insight
is you
for
have
me.
something to claim, Nia?
No, thank you so much. That's good insight for me.
You against with
That's good
natural.
insight for me, Mister, because I'm kind of
Thank you very much.
thinker, a big thinker. Like sometimes feel nervous, very nervous, kind of that. Thank you so much.
Okay, nervousness is very normal. That's a very what is that? Yeah, natural. Yeah, nervousness gives you the power to open your presentation, and you will be very positive. You will be very aware of the condition. This is good for you, right? Use the nervousness into something positive. Okay, remember 3P: prepare well, practice more, and say your prayer. I believe that will be helping you. Yeah. Okay. And the second question, this one is from Putri Princess Ngawirabaya. Her number is 2024 747 9032. She comes up with the question, how can you identify whether a persuasive message is based on logic or merely emotional manipulation? Well, is that easy, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So again, actually we have a common sense with your audience, something that is true. Sometimes you don't have to discuss. Yeah, this is kind of like a general truth. Yeah, so identifying persuasive message, yeah, logic versus emotional manipulation. To determine whether a persuasive message is based on logic or emotional manipulation, consider the following factor. Putri, okay, are you in it, Putri?
Yes, Mr. Han.
Princess? Okay, so here, yeah, logic-based messages. First, clear claims and evidence. The message present clear claims supported by credible evidence, data, or expert opinion. Yeah, Princess, never say like, I think, yes, somebody tell me or somebody told me. Yeah, okay, I feel. Try to avoid this kind of what is that? It's kind of a personal statement. Okay, rather than you are going to be against by your audience. Yeah. Number two, yeah, rational argument. Yeah, the message uses logical reasoning, deductive or inductive to build a case. Yeah, this is the way that you try to draw conclusion based on certain case. Okay, but I do believe your audience will be follow with your common sense. Yeah, objective tone. The tone is neutral, avoiding emotional language and sensationalism. Wow, I like sensationalism, right? Yeah, but sometimes the problem like this one. What is that? Your opinion, okay, without evidence is just your sensation. You get it, right? Everyone, can you follow me, please? Come on in. Your opinions.
Your opinion.
Without evidence, just
is
your sensation.
your sensation.
Your sensation.
Yeah. Very good. It seems that you are killing yourself during your persuasive speaking. Is that clear? So try to avoid this kind of a personal opinion. Yeah. Okay. And the next one is transparent sources. The message cites credible sources and provide transparent information. Of course, then you have to mention the references, the books, yeah, saying, yeah, proverb, whatever it is, yeah, in order for the audience, yeah, to judge you whether you are a very fair. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and what else then? I think that's all. Yeah. To answer a question from Putri Princess. Yes, Putri, you have a claim.
Yes,
continue
crystal
to the
clear,
next
Mr.
question.
Han.
Time is ticking. I'm sorry.
Can I continue, everyone?
Yes, please. Continue, please.
Do you still have energy with me?
Because time is ticking, Pak Han.
Yeah, okay then. Thank you very much. Here. Now the next one is from Twinny. Yeah, Twinny comes with a question like this one. She comes with the statement: a motivator wants to persuade the audience to increase their motivation and productivity. He uses inspirational stories and motivational strategies to persuade the audience that they can achieve their goal. The question, what type of motivational strategies can motivator use to increase the audience motivation and productivity? Okay, yeah. This one is talking about motivational strategies to increase audiences motivation and productivity. Of course, then a motivator can use various strategies to persuade and motivate the audience. Now, take a look at the some strategies. Yeah, number one, you can use also storytelling. Yeah, you can share inspiring story of overcoming challenges and achieving success. Yeah, use narrative to illustrate key motivational principles and make them relatable. Okay, and the second one is a goal setting. Teach the audience how to set SMART. Yeah, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Yeah, again, yeah, so SMART stand for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Yeah. Encourage them to break down large goals to smaller, manageable tasks. Yeah. And then the next one is a positive self-talk. Emphasize the importance of positive affirmation and self-encouragement. Help the audience recognize and challenge negative self-talk pattern. Yeah. Then again, how do you build the confidence? Building confidence, foster a growth mindset by emphasizing that abilities and intelligence can be developed. Yeah. Encourage your audience to take calculated risks and step out of their comfort zone. Yeah. Then accountability. Encourage your audience to share their goals and progress with a friend or mentor. This one is that the way you use your accountability partners or groups to provide support and motivation. Celebrating small wins. Okay. Yeah, you have to give kind of also credit for your audience. Emphasize the importance of recognizing and celebrating small achievement. For example, like help the audience understand that progress, not perfection, is the goal. And also you can give a kind of appreciation by clapping your hands or smile, something like that. Yeah. Okay. And creating supportive environment. Encourage your audience to surround themselves with positive, supportive people. Discuss the importance of discuss the importance of conducive work environment and minimal distraction. I think that's the way I answer Twinnie's question. Yes, Twinnie, you have a claim regarding this one?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Han. It's
You're
clear.
welcome. And last but not least, from my sister Uni Handayani with the number 2024-747-9002. The question like this: What extent does audience awareness influence the choice of language, confidence, and tone in speaking to persuade? And how can a speaker tailor their argument to audience characteristic? Okay, so again, audience awareness in persuasive speaking is very important. Audience awareness plays a crucial role in persuasive speaking as it influences the choice of language, evidence, and tone. Understanding these character, values, and beliefs help you as a speaker tailor their argument to effectively persuade their audience. Yeah. First, the language. Tailor your vocabulary and tone. Use language that resonates with the audience level of understanding, values, and emotion. Yeah. After that, also avoid jargon and technical terms, slang, whatever it is. Yeah. Never use in your presentation. Use clear and concise language to ensure the audience understanding and message. Yeah. Use rhetorical devices, for example, like asking your audience with a question. Yeah. Okay, in the hope that you can answer the question by yourself. So employ literacy devices such as metaphor, allusion, repetition to engage and persuade the audience. And evidence. Evidence is very important here. Use relevant and credible sources. Select evidence that is relevant to audience concern and values and comes from credible sources. Statistics and data, of course, then. Okay, you no need to argue in this case. Yeah. And the last one is the expert testimony. Use expert testimony to add credibility and authority to the argument. Yeah, I think that's all the way when you try to persuade your audience. So again, speaking to persuade is not that easy. In this case, then how you make your audience act, do as you want to you want them to do. Then you want them to be complying with your ideas, your proposal, your need, and your intention. I think that's all from me. Yeah, very sorry. So thank you very much. Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dr. Penny mic is
Waalaikumsalam
yours.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for both presenters. Well done. Both presentations were very good. The explanations provided were also understandable, especially from Pak Hen. So I just want to give a little input in general, ya, hanya untuk general saja. So for example, don't forget, Bapak Ibu, if you are giving a presentation, it will be much better if the examples provided are related to your audience environment. This is called an authentic material. So, for example, if you are now English education student with this floor, don't forget to design the examples relating to Pak Tuhu menuliskan tadi kalau tidak salah, relate the subject directly to the audience. So instead of giving like World War, human body, museum layout, space travel, electricity, and so on, this is we are not using an authentic material here. So tadi ada contoh dari Pak Tuhu yang sudah baik sebenarnya, inclusive education. Namun tadi pada saat diberikan stepnya, this is not continued. You change the topic into digital citizenship, for example. Ini kan kurang related dengan kita ya. Mungkin akan jauh lebih baik kalau diberikan contohnya yang terkait dengan ELT, karena kita saat ini kan adalah majoring in ELT atau setidaknya TEFL. Ya, maybe you can give a speech about the process of teaching vocabulary, for example, in ESL classroom. Maybe you would explain the various steps involved if it is about chronological order. Jadi kita jelaskan the steps involved, such as selecting the vocabularies first, presenting how to present to the students, how to practice the vocabularies, how to give exercise, how to review it over time. Ini kan vocabulary step by step. Jadi teaching vocabulary step by step. Ini chronological. Or if you want to do topical order, you focus on different methods of teaching vocabularies, such as maybe this time you can introduce using flashcards. Next time you can introduce to use contextual learning. Atau apa lagi, itu namanya topical. Apapun itu caranya, tapi usahakan libatkan topik kita yang memang itu tadi authentic material. Because if you're talking about, for example, electricity or spaceship or any other things yang kita tidak terlalu familiar, itu nanti yang akan membuat the audience disengage with the topic because ya what are you talking about? Nanti jadinya bingung gitu, nggak paham gitu ya. So kita bisa bikin contoh-contoh yang related. So when teaching vocabulary to our students, the first step is blah, blah, blah. Next, the vocabulary is introduced in context. And then following the step, the students can engage in the practice activities and blah, blah, blah. Itu lebih, mungkin audiensnya akan lebih menyimak, especially when you're English teacher. When you're an English teacher, akan lebih, oh ini ada metode baru nih, mungkin jangan-jangan ya, bisa saya dengerin nih, bisa saya terapin nih. Mungkin itu akan lebih excited. Kemudian in the first presentation, I think I have taught about this 6 times 6, rumus 6 kali 6 itu. Jadi 4 per slides. So for 6 words for each line. Jadi satu baris itu tidak lebih dari 6 kata. Because this is PowerPoint, not power word or power word. Nah, bukan ini kita PowerPoint kan ya, bukan power word gitu. Jadi poin-poin. So do not need to make a sentence, a full sentence. Dalam PPT itu tidak perlu ada satu kalimat penuh karena kita poin-poin saja Bapak Ibu. So maximum is 6 words for each line. And then 6 lines for each slide. Paling banyak tuh 6 baris ke bawah. Jangan lebih dari itu. Karena kalau sudah lebih dari itu, the audience will spend time more to read instead of listening to your speech. Orang akan udah fokus baca itu karena penuh tuh layarnya. And if you see something, if you try to read something, then your ear won't listen. Itu sudah alamiah. Kalau kita sedang membaca sesuatu, maka pendengaran kita itu melemah, Bapak Ibu. Karena kita memfokuskan pada mata. gitu. Kita akan kurang dengar yang sekeliling. Nah, gitu. Jadi itulah rumusnya. Jadi paling banyak 6 baris ke bawah. Kalau kalimatnya bukan kalimat ya, paling banyak 6 kata. And the font of the writing is 28 minimum untuk isinya. Ini juga sudah ada di presentasi awal. Tulisannya itu minimum 28 hurufnya besarnya. Kalau if it is too small, again, the attention will shift. Bakal ini apa? The attention will shift to another to your screen. Jadinya nanti the audience is trying to read what is written on the screen instead of listening to you. Jadi itu jangan. Mungkin itu. Lalu kemudian tadi misalnya kalau seperti kata Pak Hen tadi, speaking to persuade is not easy. Nah, contoh-contoh yang diberikan juga bisa dikaitkan dengan our major. Mungkin Bapak Ibu nanti lain kali bisa memberikan contoh, misalnya if you want to give a speech about how to engage technology into our English language teaching, for example. Maybe your audience are English teachers that are worried about the cost of the technology, they are worried about the lack of training, they are not familiar with technology. Kan sering begitu, kita mau menggunakan teknologi tapi banyak yang menentang karena they are not familiar with the technology. So you are going to persuade your audience to integrate technology into their teaching. Gimana caranya? Kita bisa memberi contoh misalnya. Bapak Ibu, some of you may be concerned about the cost, or maybe you're not familiar of using the new technology into your new classroom. But according to the recent studies from blah 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 in blah 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 journal, misalnya, Bapak Ibu bisa menggunakan itu dan kemudian memberikan banyak contoh. Nah, jadi apapun itu intinya adalah ketika Bapak Ibu melakukan presentasi, kaitkan contoh-contohnya dengan audiensnya. So you have to do your research first. Who is your audience? Ya, audiensnya siapa? The backgrounds. Bagaimana backgroundsnya? So it is called an authentic material. Jadi Bapak Ibu tidak memberikan contoh-contoh di luar awang-awang yang tidak kepikiran sama audiensnya. Karena instead of comprehend your speech, nanti orang jadi melongo, bengong aja. Apa sih ini? Nggak tahu saya maksudnya apa. Nah gitu. Jadi akan jauh lebih baik diberikan contoh-contoh yang related to your audience daily life. Itu yang namanya authentic material. Mau mengajar, mau melakukan presentasi, mau apapun, tailor the speech to your audience needs. Jadi di tailor, di design untuk sesuai dengan itu. Mungkin itu saja Bapak Ibu. Hanya masukan saya hanya contoh-contohnya saja. Yang tadinya sudah bagus, sampelnya aja yang kurang ditambah agar lebih
Very much,
related.
Dr. Feni.
Satu
Thank
lagi
you, Dr. Feni.
sebelum saya lupa. You're welcome. Sebelum saya lupa, jangan lupa ya Bapak Ibu disegerakan
UAS itu
tugas
ya.
UASnya ya, supaya lebih cepat selesai, lebih cepat saya bisa koreksi dan lebih cepat lagi bisa saya input nilainya ya Bapak Ibu. Walaupun belum UAS, tapi kan kalau saya sudah koreksi saya bisa tinggal input. So,
Dr. Feni,
mungkin itu ya.
question Dr. Feni. Ya.
Yes, please.
Apakah UAS nanti juga di-share di LMS ya, Dr. Feni? Sorry.
Ya, betul. Jadi Bapak Ibu sama seperti UTS, UAS harus di-share di LMS karena nanti itu yang membuat datanya itu terbuka, sistemnya terbuka. Kalau Bapak Ibu tidak share di LMS, saya tidak bisa input nilainya, tertutup karena UAS menganggap Bapak Ibu tidak mengikuti kalau tidak dimasuk di LMS. So still Bapak Ibu harus masukkan ke LMS. Tapi karena LMS sering down, that's why I ask you as well to submit the link to our G Drive gitu. Karena saya akan meriksa dari G Drive aja. LMS itu ruwet Bapak Ibu. Jadi itu sekedar prosedur aja supaya saya bisa input nilai. Ada lagi yang mau ditanyakan? Mudah-mudahan jelas ya. This is our last meeting by the way. Thank you very much. Kalau tidak ada, mungkin hari ini pertemuan terakhir kita Bapak Ibu. Thank you very much for the semester. I am so happy I have the opportunity to meet you all Bapak Ibu. Ini kelas yang sangat menyenangkan. Saya mohon maaf lahir dan batin kalau saya pernah hilaf. Namanya manusia, tidak mungkin tidak ada yang hilaf ya. Saya doakan, I wish you untuk semuanya. Semoga Bapak Ibu dimudahkan bisa segera melanjutkan kuliah tanpa ada halangan yang berarti. Semester 2 dan
Amin.
berikutnya langsung semester
Kasih.
3 menyiapkan tesis.
Ah,
Mungkin itu ya Bapak Ibu. I'll see you next
Thank
time.
you, Dokter. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Assalamualaikum
Dokter.
warahmatullahi
Thank you.
wabarakatuh.
you.
Salam
Thank you,
sejahtera.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you,
Waalaikumsalam
Dok.
terus
warahmatullahi
sarangnya,
wabarakatuh.
Dadah.
sarangnya
Thank
dok,
you Bapak
sarangnya.
Ibu.
Thank you.